What's going on, everybody? John Stamper. We are here live in San Antonio at Dr. Scott Luna's Breakaway Seminars, and I want to continue these great conversations with the companies that are here. As I've mentioned in the previous interviews, very special, for Dr. Luna to have these great companies here. Matter of fact, we've had a couple breaks this morning, and it was very refreshing to see on the breaks the doctors and their teams going over, learning about these great companies. Like I mentioned, Dr. Luna likes to weave in what they do into his presentation, and so we're going to keep this thing going. But very excited to have with me Kimball Payn, who is from Pearl. How you doing, Kimball?
Doing great, thank you. Thanks for having me on. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So first off, I just want to say thank you. I know Pearl has been, a Breakaway partner. You guys have really been attending these since we started having the companies in there. So we really appreciate that. But yeah, I would love to have you share with everybody. AI is this big buzzword.
Yep.
And so it's been exciting times for you guys.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I've been excited about is hearing from the doctors what it has been like to be able to provide these visuals for the patients and almost letting the technology, not almost, but having the technology move these patients forward to get treatment done. So how's that been?
Oh, it's been phenomenal. And first off, like you said, Dr. Luna and the Breakaway Seminar, it's been phenomenal. Just like you said, that first break, everyone's coming to all the booths, and it's fun just because all these companies are making such a big impact on these practices. So it's been great to be a part of that. But and on the patient side, it's refreshing to see the patients understand dentistry. Yeah. And I don't think we realize the impact that Pearl is going to have on the dental world yet, just because when patients see it, they understand it. And for a long time, there's been this gap of the dentist understanding it, and then they show the patient the x-ray and it goes right over their head.
Right. Yeah, I use the analogy a lot of comparing dentistry to getting our cars worked on. And when I first say that, people are like, okay, where's he going with this?
Yeah.
But as you know, if you don't understand the engine, and the technician comes out and he says, okay, like here's the 6 things you need done. Do you really know, right? Like if you don't understand that, you don't know. And to your point, Kimball, that's how dentistry has been done.
Yeah.
And when I think about all the doctors I've talked to over the years and the CE courses they've had to go to learn how to present cases, when now we have this technology, like you mentioned, where the visuals show the patient how important it is that treatment gets done. I think that's what's so exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. I always talk about, there's a study that we did where we had Dr. Stanley, who's one of our founders. He looked at 2,000 x-rays, marked everything up on all the x-rays, and then he went back 6 months later, looked at the same x-rays, and he only agreed with himself 70% of the time. And he's a phenomenal dentist, right?
Yeah.
And so there's so many different variables. Did I get enough sleep the night before as a dentist, right? Did they get enough sleep the night before, or are they looking at the x-rays on the same monitor?
Right.
There's so many variables that can go into how well we diagnose. And it's funny you mentioned cars. I told this story to our team at Pearl, but back in the late 1800s, first cars were invented. Fast forward 20 years, there was a guy that saw a milk truck that was driving by, and milk leaked out the back of the truck, and it drew a line on the road. And before that, there was no lines on the road, so there's tons of accidents, things like that. But that invention of the line on the road has saved more lives than anything. Yep. And same thing going to x-rays. It's like x-rays were invented late 1800s as well. We haven't had lines on the roads yet. Yeah. And that's what Pearl is doing. We're giving people this guideline, and it's dentist plus the AI is going to be a whole lot more effective than dentists on their own, or even AI on its own as well.
Yeah, I love that analogy. So this is a very evolving process, and what I'm curious about is, because now that this is out there and more and more doctors are using it, talk to me how is the model going to evolve, right? The more data that you get strengthens the AI component of it, but what is that looking like? Because I think that's really, really exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where I wish Dr. Stanley were here to talk more into that side, because the possibilities are endless. I think really we are just barely scratching the surface of where this can go, help diagnose and help that case acceptance. But I would say too, like we are looking into the future. I asked that same question to Dr. Stanley, and we're going to add more to the panos. We're going to add more to eventually CBCT, and that's where it's like it's really just going to explode. Like,
but at the moment, I mean, still, I mean, with the way it is now, I mean, the benefits it's providing practices is huge.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You see case acceptance increase by 30%. AI plus the dentist, we've seen when it's used together, they diagnose about 27% more as well. So there's so much that just we miss as humans. And then the other part that I love about Pearl too is we help show, hey, here's all in the last 18 months, we run every x-ray through, here's all the missed opportunities we had as well.
Yeah, you know, I think about the correlation of a lot of the things that Dr. Luna is talking about, which is growing your business and what's possible and how can you stretch yourself. And I know the doctors come out of this getting excited about that, but then it's okay, like, what do I have in my practice that's going to actually help me do that or diagnose that or identify that? And so that's a great example of what you just brought about how this is helping that. What type of questions do you get when people here come up and talk to you about it?
The questions like how accurate is this, and like that one. We typically say we're 94% accurate, so we're not perfect, right? And there's once again so many different variables in the X-ray itself. It's their angulation, overlap. But once again, us plus the doctor, we're going to be a whole lot more accurate than either one on its own.
That's a good point when you combine those two. And again, I think like anything else, like that's why I want to make that statement, and I know Dr. Stanley can speak to this. It is an evolving thing, you know, but it's definitely a positive step in the right direction. And especially when, you know, I'm starting to hear just feedback of practices, you know, being excited about it, teams being excited. That's the thing I wanted to ask you. So what about, you know, it can be challenging sometimes for a practice owner to bring in a new technology into the practice and get like their whole team on board, right? So that everyone's moving forward. What's that been like?
The response is actually phenomenal. Most times it's like hygienists see this, they're like, oh my gosh, this is going to make my life a whole lot easier. No, they are absolutely in love with it. And even more so too on the patient side. It's funny, my dentist uses Pearl. I went to him and it was cool to see just on the patient side of things. I'm like, oh crap, I have a couple cavities. But the patients love it. Like they see it, they can finally understand, and overall response has been very, very positive.
That's a great idea. You know, it's interesting. Like you have to talk about it all the time, but you're not always on the other side. And so, you know, maybe that might be something cool moving forward. You know, that people get a chance to go. You know, have it used on them, so that they can kind of see it, you know, from that patient perspective, which is great. How can people learn about Pearl? Like, what's the process, demos, all that stuff? Let everybody know.
HelloPearl.com. You go online. You can go on and book a demo yourself. Pick a time that works for you, or you can contact me directly if you have questions. It's just Kimball, Kimball at HelloPearl.com. But we have a great team. Everyone, like our training, most of our trainers too are ex-hygienists, and so they speak your language. They want to help you not only know how to use it, but how to talk about it with patients. Because you might get some older patients like, wait, what is this? What am I looking at? But so they'll talk you through the talk tracks of how to present it to patients as well.
Awesome. Well, Kimball, thanks so much. Again, thanks for being a Breakaway partner. I know Dr. Luna appreciates it.
Yeah.
And enjoy the next couple of days. And thanks everybody for watching.
Thank you.